My interest in church planting began many years ago when we were attending the Lidditz Grace Brethren Church in Lidditz, PA. On a Sunday evening, we had a slide tape, which really ages us. It was Jim Hunt up in Vermont, PA, and he was focusing on several church plants that he was organizing and developing there. And God gripped my heart watching that one evening, and gripped my heart so much that he actually called me to ministry, and very specifically to church planting. Out of that, I began my formal education and came on staff at Lidditz Grace Brethren. And ultimately, they sent us out to northern Pennsylvania, where we planted a church and pastored that for 18 years.
It was difficult. I liked where we were living. I liked being able to gift others, to do for others. I had to struggle with what that change really meant to us, really living by faith. And in our particular situation, God asked us to liquidate our properties and our assets and to really live by faith.
As I weighed this, stepping out of a local church and looking at a ministry in church planting, I viewed it as a larger avenue for me to impact the world for Jesus Christ. It gave me greater contact with more pastors. It also gave me the opportunity to take some of the tools that I used in life to help other men and women reach people for Jesus Christ.
I think one of the things that has made Jim effective in this ministry of church planting is that he himself is a church planter, having started a church in central Pennsylvania, having brought it to maturity. He just gets church planters because that's what he is.
Jim always stayed on the cutting edge of new thought, new methods. The principles never change. God's word doesn't ever change. But our culture changes, and the different people that we work with. You have to have a sensitivity to know where they're at so that you can be effective. Jim has a great ability to sense that.
The transition was not that difficult. I enjoy preaching. I had the privilege of preaching almost every Sunday in a different church. And I could tell the folks what I wanted to tell them without having any repercussions throughout the week. But it also, I would say my congregation became the pastors and church planters and their wives. One of the things I developed actually was in Grace Brethren North American Missions was an assessment process for those that had an interest in planting churches. We had a lot of people that had an interest, but just meeting with them and talking with them, I knew that for the most part, they were not gifted appropriately to plant a church. They had a calling to ministry, I never doubt that, but they were not called to plant a church. And through a 2 or 3 day process, as well as an online interaction, we take these tools like a grid and just narrow them down to the point at the end of the assessment. They told us that they were either called to plant a church or not.
The retreats and workshops gave opportunity to the church planter wives and pastors' wives involved with them, the opportunity for refreshment, a time to melt down. There was much laughter. There was many tears. They would interact with each other, and they would be encouraged, and they would grow greatly from these times of being together.
But I think overall, my greatest joy in ministry has been working with pastors that are in churches, and then working with church planters and their wives. They just rejuvenate my soul. Their excitement, their enthusiasm, and their teachability, although they can be a little stubborn, I just love working with church planters.
Well, many of our church plants are way outside of the box. I mean, they're just not traditional, and it's like some of our more restrained saints would go, but people are being saved. Lives are being changed.
You know, as I look at Go-To, its existence now, I believe, is 6 years. I would have to say that basically through Tim Bull, It is on a cutting edge, recognizing that the way we did ministry in the past, the way we did church planting in the past, is fading out. Other missions now are looking at go-to ministries and seeking to perhaps glean and to re-identify their own ministries in respect to the avenue and the new emphasis and focus that Tim has in that ministry.
He's been a real encouragement to many church planters around the country, to pastors who are thinking about how to create strategies to launch new churches. He's been an extremely loyal and helpful person on staff, not only to his colleagues, but to me personally. And we wouldn't have been able to achieve as much as we have in church planting without his support and energy.
And I was open and willing to interact with any pastor, and they knew that if they would speak with me, that I was a safe person that would go no further than between the two of us. And I love pastors. I just respect so much what they do. They have very few people that they can confide in, and they really need men and women out there to help them.
He can talk with individuals and sense their heart almost right away. He is faithful. He is steadfast. He does not overreact. And I give him a hard time sometimes, but he truly walks with God. Sometimes I say, Jim, earth to Jim, earth to Jim. But he's a good man after God's heart.
I view the world as lost and needing Jesus. And whatever steps I could take as a pastor and then as director of church planting, my focus was reaching lost people for Jesus Christ.
All right, Tim, let's try it again. Take 16.
As a Pennsylvania Dutchman, he's able to use Pennsylvania Dutch language to communicate to those in Lancaster County. I just had to get that in there. Maybe we could do that as an outtake.
Say use, guys.
Yeah, he's really helpful with use. What was the question again?